We're going on to match number 51 now. We're heading over to Erangel, the grassy pastures, as we see if all these teams are going to be able to shape up or ship out. It's time to head over to Demon and Sims for all of the PUBG action.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. And here we go, match 51. And plenty more to go, but we are on to the grassy fields, as Calaris did mention. Can FaZe go and triple head it? I don't know. It's a rough plane, there's no doubt about that. FaZe will be happy with it. They're going to get to multi-power, no problem. But everybody else, this means that NIP are going to adjust. They're going to go Lipovka. But where will we see the likes of M19 going, who would normally go Primorse? Even Na'Vi are a stretch to go over to Ferry Pier.
I think I just saw an M19 player bail out.
Oh, yeah.
It's a questionable one. I'll say that much.
I think elite players deciding to go elsewhere. I don't even know.
It's not an elite player.
It's not. Well, it could be. You don't know. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't.
What's he doing? This has to be a... This, I would probably say that that's maybe, because he's not moving, a difference on the observer. So we'll just let that be for now and see how this one plays out.
Winstrike on the move as well up north. Obviously, normally a Gatka team, so they are making adjustments. Now, CrowCrowd is a Severny team. Now, I think it was FaZe that went into Severny last time and forced CrowCrowd out. That was obviously last week, so there has been changes. The circle fits the playing path, no doubt about that. This is going to be a tricky game.
And that's the bigger bonus to this one, if there was one anyway, should I say. The circle does land over the plane's trajectory. This could be quite fun if you look towards where TSM position is. I would expect TSM, they're not a team that likes to camp bridges. They don't do that. But knowing the information that there are, I say knowing the information, you should at least have some information that there's going to be at least a minimum of one team over on Sosnovka. Would you expect them to set up a bridge encampment? They're not too far off the center point being shelter. You could move up to the lumber mill if you wanted to, but you have to be aware that we're going to see NIP. They're going to be in their scouting grounds more towards Lipovka. This is their secondary backup drop. They will always readjust to that place in that area.
Yeah, I think we'll see TSM go to the old Vitality compound, if you remember. They always used to post up sort of in these compounds south of shelter. We'll probably see maybe ENCE. The ENCE tend to favor Heaven, but that's a little far north, I would say, right now. Obviously, this warehouse and Alamo are looking pretty good. Prison Wall, etc. That's probably going to be a very busy territory. With NIP, of course, over Lipovka, causes problems because you normally see FaZe Clan go sort of Prison Wall on this sort of circle. But as you mentioned, Lumber Mill, you know, these sort of things. We've seen quite a few Lumber Mill finishes. Obviously, we ended last week with Team Liquid picking up a massive game. I think it was close to a 20-kill game. I think it was a 19-kill game in the last match of last week. Team Liquid, by the way, obviously because of the playing path, they're actually pretty late to get Picardo, and obviously they're a team that likes to be rotating as early as possible. That's going to cause a problem because they're going to be pretty late to this one. Maybe they're even going to look towards Liquid Compound. That's still a bit further north, I would say, though.
The benefit of Pachinki is the fact that it's still inside the circle, right? So they can bounce off anyway off the back of this one. It will be a bit of a gauntlet, and the lads on that team will understand and will know this. So maybe more of a precautious approach to where they want to go on their designated route. Maybe look towards them going towards Potato Hill. They'll look towards that, off the back of Pachinki Hill, whatever you want to call it, and scout forward. That could definitely be a pit stop for them to get an eye line on where they want to post up. Yeah, more. I'm just looking further afield. Obviously, for ENCE, same position as ever. They'll be more than aware that Raise Your Edge is there and on their rotation path. The one thing they will definitely be aware of is where NIP is. They can't just come dredging straight down from the mountains and hitting the West Coast road. They know the lads from NIP will be kicking around there, so they have to be very aware of that. I think the hardest rotation here for me, apart from Sosnovka, is probably going to be CrowCrowd. I want to see their approach to this. I don't want to see a broken and indecisive approach. I want to see a unit, 4 lads moving in vehicles together as a team. They have potentially, unless they skirt the edge of Stalba, 3 bridges they have to cross, which will all be bottlenecks for them, and in vehicles it can be very, very dangerous and be the downfall of some teams. And again, skirting past Yasnaya when there's so many teams lingering there will be difficult as it is. But I want to see CrowCrowd get together here, get themselves in cars, make a push as a unit, and take control of somewhere on the map and work together as a team. Because at the moment, for me, that's the one problem I have with this roster. They're very split up. They're very broken apart, and they're not a complete unit. They need to work as a unit to get up that leaderboard.
It's almost what we worried Na'Vi may be, because we never really knew what they were going to be like. We're like, could Senya pull these guys together? Absolutely, yes, he can. He's the in-game leader, and it's that strength, right? But then it's not only the in-game leader, it's about the players listening to the in-game leader. It's like, it's all well and good, you know, having the best in-game leader in the world, but if the other 3 players don't want to listen to him, it's pointless. So it's obviously a full team thing. So we'll see whether they can pull together, like you say.
I mean, they're not
We've
bad
seen
players,
this so
don't get me
often.
wrong.
Oh no, they're actually cracking players.
But
I mean,
they're not. I don't think they're powerful individually like you would see someone on TSM, like Gustav, for instance. The man is a monster. He can run off on his own for a reason.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Kemba and Tab did fantastically well on Jokers in Phase 1. Yeah, Sampai did great on Red Diamond. So, you know, these are good players. And Set obviously is the in-game leader for them. So, I'm very confused by Winstrike's approach. Obviously, you know, they're ordinary Gatka. Yes, it was a long way, but instead they chose to go all the way up to the north. Fuzzy's getting pushed, and he's going to get taken down. It's revenge from Rory, and TSM will take down Fuzzface. How many times have we seen FaZe Clan lose a single player to TSM and get caught off guard in that similar position?
How many times have we seen FaZe Clan lose a player early on? It's even though they're at the top of the board, they still.
But that's got to be, I would say, maybe the 4th or 5th time we've seen TSM just sneak in and nick a player from FaZe Clan in the FaZe Circle 1, and just completely catch them off guard. And that's obviously because, you know, FaZe was spread, obviously, so they pulled up 2v1. Thank you very much. But yeah,
you did mention where they were going to go as well, so. You could look ahead and say, okay, this was definitely a readable position. We should have maybe thought about this one. It'll be a slight reposition now for FaZe Clan. They move further up into the lumber mill. NIP, you've got Gaxi just in the yellows next to the prison bank and the prison wall. NIP are banking on this going a little bit north. They are sticking up there.
Rich, you know you talked about CrowCrowd coming in together.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Set is the in-game leader.
You could say, okay, this is what you do as a scout. It's your job to lose things like that. But I mean, Senpai is away from the rest of them.
You're scouting, and then there's like a mile difference between his team. And the team are coming in one by one, separated, split apart. Here they come.
He's not exactly a deep scout either. He's still playing off the edge here. Need a bit more of a foothold on the circle than what you're hoping for a circle.
Very predictably running into ENCE on this side. You know, a team that always will come in fairly late, despite this. M19, by the way, they're still down south, still on Sosnovka, haven't come across, and obviously with Unity now coming across, they may set up a camp themselves, Unity, on that eastern bridge. Reciprocity went west bridge. We just saw them a moment ago in picture. They've gone up towards Potato Hill, in towards the backside of Vitality. We're back to week 1. Reciprocity and Vitality coming close to one another. Trading meds.
All those bikes. Makes a lot of noise. Easy movement and map maneuverability, but a hell of a lot of noise if you want to warn someone you're coming. Just going past the false stack here on the cubes. Bit of a bottleneck if you have got a circle up there coming out of the crate area, especially across that bridge, and you got the little Harry Potter that can be an overlook as well. If you can sneak a player just inside the door, it's an awful place to go if you're playing publics. Really easy to trap people.
Team Liquid not fancying it. They were spread. I think it's Reciprocity sort of come in. They're kind of just going to group up a little bit. Okay, where do we go then? Is this going to be a big shift? Is it going to be a sharp shift? Are we going to go down to power? No, it centers up bang on.
Not bad.
Perfect onto shelter. So most of the teams that went for that early center point are happy right now.
M19 are in trouble lane. Unless they get lucky in the fact that Unity just go quickly and they get across this one. Dimash will be the sacrifice. Send him up first. If he goes down, then maybe they can reposition and get a boat. I am seeing players, though, at the end of this. Let's see how it goes.
I think the saving grace is that Unity are semi-engaged with TSM. They're just having a couple of shots back and forth, so they've kind of bailed out. Yeah, they're
Navi here, though.
They've kind of gone out. Yeah, Navi coming in on the coastline, double crate into the river. That's not going to be helping anybody, so nobody will be getting that one. Really, the angles we'd be looking at is Unity. So Unity are going to get into farm, it looks like, although Blaston's been kind of delayed. M19 will come right in behind him. That is a completely useless crate. M19. Okay, here we go. So there's Blaston going to be joining. You can see Na'Vi off to the left-hand side. Wanderer just getting vision of them, realizing they've pulled into farm.
Move up for now.
NIP have actually snuck into prison.
TSM's
onto the wall. Look at that. Gaxy's gone on the wall. So,
I mean, holding that point from there, I expected him to go to the yellows, but I'm also very, very surprised there's no other players there.
No, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? NIP will have off. Of course they got prison wall.
It's an interesting one that no one else has decided to push on that and make an advancement.
Navi are pushing up onto mini farm and having a little peek. Bestalosh sees the Wanderer. Wanderer tries to trade fire with him and backs away. Doesn't want any of that. And we'll just back away. TSM will look in this way. They're just having a little angle, see if they can get some long ranges. Okay, Unity are on the move, and I don't like this move. Oh, yeah, okay. Orange tried to go for it. Pokemolodoy doesn't quite finish him off. Didn't quite get the knock.
Still enough damage and a bit of a warning shot, more importantly. It looks like Navi will disengage from this one.
Unity tried to go to the house to the north of farm, and it was occupied by G2, so just badly scouted. And Blaston nearly lost his life doing that.
I mean, in your mind, you would hazard a guess, and this is just a complete guess because you don't know what's going to happen ahead of this game, is the fact that you would say, okay, if we more swing to the left-hand side of this one, if we go up the west coast, then in theory, given the playing path and where people were set up initially, it should be clearer. Yes, it is a little bit, but you do have Winstrike, who it's a bit of an unorthodox play where they went all the way up to Georgia Paul to then come back down all the way down to here on this main road and long embankment. You don't have it on screen. I do, which runs from the farm side.
I see what they've done. They're basically coming from a rotate of what they're used to, right? They don't normally be coming from Gatka, so they've basically just gone south and just took a standard rotate. The problem is Jorski's been completely caught out by them. So they're chasing down. Yeah, Nasus has a clear vision on him. They're just looking for the rest of the players. And Jorski will go down. Maybe...
bit weird to leave him running his own like that.
Yeah, I don't really understand what it was. I guess they just didn't see Vitality. Yeah, everybody else was in vehicles. Away. Hello. Rafi's found Gempty. Team Liquid losing one there. That's a straight cross-field shot as Rafi moved on to the new position. So that's Team Liquid losing one on the edge of shelter there. That's not good for them.
Can we assume that he was on top of one of the bunkers, maybe looking across? And he's just been insted and flushed. There's no response there, unfortunately. Circle kind of goes Rex way as well. They don't have any hard cover as such in forms of buildings, but they do have this long road which gives them an elevated line of sight. You can lay down at the top of those roads and avoid any contact from below. You'll at least hide your body.
This is a rough centre circle position though, because that's a valley effectively, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got the Harry Potters, but the problem with the Harry Potters up there is that everyone else is also elevated. So as you look through with the scopes, you're basically in line with them. And because there's 360 vision on some of those Harry Potters, they're not the best in the world.
Well, here's Jeems getting pressured. Squeaky taken down. Trifly already dropped. The rest of ENCE coming in. And this may just be complete flush territory. This is not good for ENCE. But they don't really have too many choices other than to fight this. Rustamar trying to get around the side. Evie just dropping the nade down onto Mikaz's head. It was Vard that got the knock, but Team Liquid will confirm themselves the kill, and that leaves just Rustamar alive.
And dead. That's not good. It's rough to see because we saw what this team did during Phase 1. They were just unstoppable. They were the kings under the mountain, just smashing every opponent who came upon them. But this time round, I don't know if it feels like people have cottoned on to how they play and are just playing up to the same standard of them, if it's because we've got much stronger players and stronger teams that have been bred.
I don't know whether they were just on a high coming out of Minsk and their performance they had there, because it feels to me they've reverted back to how they played when they were known as One. When they were originally as that lineup back then.
Oin.
Yeah, Oin One. Yeah, I'm so glad they changed bloody name. Obviously qualified through as Accelerate and then joined ENCE, but it feels like to me that's gone a little astray. Vitality, they caught Timmy completely off guard here. They're going to hear footsteps now, but Timmy, you are in the open. And all you have is a couple of ridge lines. He's trying to crouch down, but Nasus and Kramer have his number. The flank comes round. Timmy gonna get a chim in midair. That's a jump at the wrong time from Nasus, trying to get a peek though. And now he's in a little trouble. Kramer's taking shots as well. Didn't see where that came from. I think it's Dixu. Dixu catch Jazza. Jazza down to nothing as well. I think that was a nade that just came past Timmy. Timmy's forced to run away from it, but he could flush them all out. They're also low on health right now.
That is one hell of a very... I'm surprised he managed to get the heel off there. That nade's up. Oh my god, it's just gone over. How close is it? It's done the damage. At least that's Nuki. Excuse me, it's a different player here.
Nuki's on the flank down the bottom, yeah. Timmy
should
push
not
now.
have
He's
been
got
allowed.
support. Oh my god, Vitality, what are you doing?
Why did they let him get the med off? He shouldn't have been allowed to do that. There's an audible signature.
Oh my word.
When you put that syringe in, you can hear this. You can't let a man who's down to such low HP with literally virtually no cover get a med off like that and do so much damage. Like,
oof.
What? Why?
This circle shift is pretty nasty. There really isn't a great deal for 15 teams to play with in this circle. This is going to get pretty messy pretty fast. FaZe just caught a knock there, but they are on the far side of the circle, as are M19, NIP. They're going to swing it around the north, around the warehouse, and in they go. Shadow about to get pressured. Here comes the nades. That's going to catch one side of the tree. And good night, Shadow. Vitality out in 15th place. And honestly, with the play they just did, I'm not surprised.
Na'Vi have heard this, just be aware, and they've pushed an advancement all the way around the circle into the west. So unfortunately, Winstrike, they've dealt with one team, but now Navi's knocking at the door. They have to deal with them. There may be a response. Team Liquid's also moving from shelter onto the same road where we see Wreck, but it's just on the end corner. D-Mash is down there. ENCE might have some information, or maybe just...
He's no idea. He's going to trip over him, not even looking. He's got away with it. The blue's going to be on his back, though, and that's going to hurt. He's going to knock him down. There's nothing he can do about that one. FaZe just playing in the blue. Mexi and Uber. Now the last two standing. Remember, FaZe lost a player earlier on.
Wander also knocked. D-Mash will at least be able to get the meds. Mexi doing whatever he can from outside of the blue, but they are going to be held at gunpoint. How the hell did he hit that? Yonks him through the blue. M19's gone in 14th.
And here's Na'Vi. This is the after effects, effectively, of Na'Vi watching what's going on the hillside. I don't think they're going to play quite as sheepishly as Vitality did. It's going to run away from that one. That didn't go well. That forced them back. Meanwhile, in the picture-in-picture, you can see NIP and Razor Edge clashing as well. And now Na'Vi continue to pressure on Winstrike.
Yeah, the nades are unfortunately rolling back down. You can see doing enough damage. Tixu does, unfortunately, bleed out. And Nuki has... Bush. Timmy could play a spoiler, but I think they have the information. SKS with the scope to allow him to do this.
CrowCrowd in Unity, it's not pretty. That's all down in farm, and CrowCrowd have tried to evacuate from this. They pulled up right on TSM as well. Yeah, Michael's there. Look at Nuki holding this angle. He sees Senya. Gets up, gets a spray down. He's going to try and flush it if he can. Can't get the points. That's all he wanted. Knew there was not really anything else they could get out of that situation.
The only thing he could have done better there was maybe reset the reticle a little bit. It was jumping all over was the AR. Mexi, speaking of jumping all over, jumping off the server. Unfortunately, 13th, unlucky for some, unlucky for them. They will be down and out. Gustav does find the last player from CrowCrowd, so a 12th position will become then. I spoke about Team Liquid's movement where they came from on shelter before, just to this edge corner. The problem is, you are playing downhill. It's a really good position because at least inside this circle, and you kind of called it, there's not a great deal of room and not really prime position. Off their backside, that's what they have to keep clear. That's what they have to fight off. Uphill, they do have a leverage of cover, or at least an amount of cover they can play with. But the Knights and G2 may get some kind of angle on them. So Liquid, they'll have to pick the battles and they'll have to take the fights that do approach them.
So Timmy goes down. That's Winstrike done and dusted. As Na'Vi find the rest of DA as well as they tried to third party and it's backfired. TSM in trouble a little bit here. They've got Blast on down. That could be a great nade. That looks like it's going to force Tizerin away. It may catch a back of Orange. Orange just about survives. The circle shrinks. It goes on to Reciprocity once again. This is a chance for Reciprocity to really step up and get some of those points. They're falling away down the bottom there. There's now Team Liquid get involved and they finish off TSM.
Can we just appreciate how far those shots came from? So James actually got involved with the K9, did a fair amount of damage at range. It gives them a bit more of a breathing space. Wreck, their plum center, they're happy. They're on the 2-2 split, which gives them the Harry Potter and the little cabin to play off the back of.
Oh dear, this is not good. Not a good run for NIP. The 4 players of the Knights, raise your edge, all just taking shots. There's clearly no utility left because there's no smokes down. So this is shooting range, I'm afraid, for NIP. They're going to fall down in 9th place in just a moment. They're all on the far side of the circle here as well. The Knights have to get a shift on as well, and they're pushing in. Team Liquid's watching their path.
Yeah, the Knights, unfortunately, took a couple of pop shots earlier on.
Boom.
Oh, bye-bye. Three in a car?
3 in a car.
All right, well, there you go. That's them done.
Kane's happy.
The Knights actually took a couple of pop shots earlier on at Team Liquid. So essentially give away the position off the back of the shelter. Now they have to make a play. MBS is doing whatever he can for NIP, but you'd expect this vehicle to go up in a ball of smoke. If not, at least he might go down anyway. What else can you really do here? Do what you can.
Got himself
My friend. Raise Your Edge were quite smart and proactive. They played off that little compound they were fighting NIP from. They decided to eject themselves from it and get ahead of the game. The problem is now they may not realize that Digital Athletics, who's been quite quiet this game, is in the compound they may be heading for. I'm surprised Fast Rail's turned around and just heading on into them. It's a questionable drive. Why? Chris now might be the next one to do it as well. Runs someone over, jumps out the car. Can he chase down Mert? This will be huge. Picks up a point for him. I'm surprised they allowed him to do that.
Yeah, managed to get Iro down. Tries to jump around the side. Can Chris go off here? He's on his own. No, he's getting caught in the back, and he will fall down to beautiful death. And like you say, you know, it's actually unfortunate timing because DA had just pulled their 2 players back. G2 pushing on Team Liquid. I'll get back to that point in a moment because this is a 3-way battle as the Knights push the hill. Team Liquid are in trouble here, being pushed from both directions, but they may come around this verge. As soon as Chris comes around this verge, he's going to see the Knights.
And this is what I talked about, Team Liquid's position. It's okay if you're watching yourself off the back foot. But there's 2 separate angles here that unfortunately are completely open. There's no smoke sub, they've not created a wall. If they had a wall of smoke, they might have been able to take one battle here and pick the poison. But unfortunately, they are being flooded by 2 different teams. The Knights, G2, Liquid. This is just head on, and 2 members of Liquid are down.
G2 stole the kills, they confirmed it. NIP actually, MBS just gets empty down, so Team Liquid will fall.
Chris.
It's going to be 6th place for them. Chris wipes out the Knights, and G2 have picked up a fair amount of kills here. Remember, they got the 3 from Unity, they just got 2 from TL and 3 from the Knights there. That's just suddenly collected very nicely as they push up the hill onto Reciprocity.
And you know what?
Are not looking.
I really like this league. Look at this, pure regression. Okay, boys, we've got rid of 2 teams. Let's just keep on going, keep on trucking. They're not even, in fact, 2 players are going to be stopping. Maybe get some ammunition, maybe get some meds, maybe even a few bits of gear that need upgrading, like a helmet or 2 or a chest. But still, the rest of them, they're not stopping. They're not applying the brakes. 2 of them have gone up front and close.
Rec have got 4 in the shack. What are they doing? Spread out. Get comfortable. Start taking over this area. Instead, they've bunched up.
I think that's going to be the Harry Potter, so they might be able to send 2 down.
Yeah.
But as you say, there's only so long. You can play off the back of it and go downhill, and maybe that's what they're looking for. G2 will be happy again. Been up there. We'll give you that line of sight where you can just lay down and avoid any confrontation. The next battle that may ensue is the one you can see on screen. DA, they're flying in. And where they pull up will be an interesting one because that is very open waters.
G2 realise they can't push too much. That is some nice shots landing from Udir there. And now they realise you can see Reciprocity. They have that Harry Potter. Scoom's trying to cover the low ground. Rafi's trying to swing on out. G2 hopping back and forward. DA down low. Don't really know how they can get out of this situation.
Let's see if anyone gets greedy for those crates, because just next to Rec, you've got a literally a double drop within a few feet of one another. If they get greedy and go for both of those, Na'Vi might punish them, or G2 might have an angle. We'll ignore the crates for now and see if they might even just, to be fair, which we've seen before, he might even give Rec a bit of cover to play off the back of, use the crates for a line of sight and try and angle out.
Has the angle. 6mo trying to flank around. He just caught an angle onto Kane and Chris there, and it forced them back. Again, they can't quite get what they want. Brexco, yeah, the number 2 killer in the server so far. 75 in 50. What, we're on 51 games at the moment? 52? I don't even know where we're at right now. 51.
We're above 50.
We're on 51. I know we are. We started on 49, then we went 50. Now we're on 51. I got it in my head. It's it's hard work. Okay, G2 realizing. Okay, they've pushed around. Okay, they've now gone fully onto Reciprocity's side of the hill, and Raffi strikes on Brexco, and don't rule them out.
What? That's
Chris
2.
nailed as well. What did Raffi just smashed him?
Well, looks like the Harry Potter's paying dividends here.
Rekka trying to steal that. Navi, sorry, and Rekka realise they pushed a little too far. But G2 down to 2.
Smokes will go up for now. You can see with the last patch, we get the timers on there on 28. So you'll know exactly they're going to come out. All the grenades in the world coming out from DA, they are just using every single bit of utility that they have. And the further they get to this main road, the harder it will be for Navi to get an angle on them.
Navi, Rekka preoccupied with G2 at the moment, and Navi are kind of sneaking in behind them. Bestelosh has got himself close to the shack. Udia landing some good shots onto Raffi. DA also looking to swing around, actually, to the northern side of the circle with Navi's repositioning. They're looking to take advantage of this.
Yeah, to be able to get yourself in the circle. And again,
nice.
Aduzi's pushing one of those crates, what I mentioned, and more importantly, it gives him whatever's inside it, but it allows him to deny line of sight from Rek. He's hidden behind him.
Senya just hopped on a bike and quickly swung around along with Pokemaldi down the south side. So now they've got this 2-2 split. As you mentioned, Aduzi's got the crate. This is suddenly Navi taking control of the circle. Rekka just collected, yes, and we talked about this with FaZe, right? FaZe versus Razor Edge. Great having a compound, gets you into those positions. But once you're in that sort of position in the last stand fight, effectively, suddenly you can get surrounded very easily. Senya sees Udia.
You could even, if you really wanted to, grab that car and pull it up against the crate to basically just give himself a bit of a wall. Use him an eye line onto Rek.
DA are just letting this play out. They're just thinking, we're getting behind positions. We don't need to push the fight right now. Now they do. They see Bestelosh.
If they can sneak a pick here, it'd be nice. Gives them a bit of an entry point. Going for, ooh.
That's G2 gone. So DA now are going to move in. Let's see what they can do. They've got secured top 3. So 4 for Navi, 4 for Reciprocity, and 3 for Digital Athletics still standing.
Bestelosh will just stay back on the opposing side of the road to keep a tab on DA and where they're going to go.
Oh, Senya's getting so much information here, isn't he, for his team? This is the in-game leader just on the full scout, full swing. He's rotating. Look at the mini-map. He's going all the way around the backside, getting full information, and just giving the rest of his team who are holding the line everything they need. He's got the full cutoff angle. He sees so much there.
You won't see where the players are if they are just
You won't see DA because they're the other side of the hill, but but basically it's telling his team there's no one this side of the circle. So now Bestelosh and Aduzi can look the other side and say, okay, this is where the threat's coming from.
I'm intrigued to see what secondary weapon he's got, because he only had an M4 there. And you'd have to hope that he has some sort of a DMR, maybe even a sniper rifle for range, because if he's going to bang a shot towards Rek, he needs to make sure it's going to count and be a headshot and do some damage on impact. It has to be a big impact weapon. A bolt action would be beautiful. What are we seeing? Okay, it's a 16 on the back. If it's single tap fire, it's not the DMR or sniper that you want in this scenario, but certainly the fact that you can put attachments on it, especially from the stock these days. Like a laser beam is that thing, if he taps someone in the head. He'll re-rotate back to his old position where he were, and for now it's just a waiting game. Navi
from this position
have a lot of ground.
Yeah, from this position, I'm going to be very, very surprised if Navi don't win this.
I mean, it all depends what DA do. I think the only way Navi don't win this is if DA
they get surprised, yeah. Well,
smash them in the back, or at least just take. I mean, it would be you'd need an aggressive push here from Rek. This is where they need to earn their money. So if DA do engage with any of Navi, I want to see them springboard out of that little Harry Potter tower and get involved.
I would have liked to have seen one of the Rek players maybe sweeping down the south side there. Once they knew they'd sorted out, or G2, the threat had been dealt with. Just having a look around. As you mentioned, DA, they're right on top. Aduzi's going to see them, but he's going to go down. And that was level 3 gear for Aduzi, and he's going to get flushed out. So that didn't help him much there. Mert will land that nade, pinpoint. And now the pressure's on. 3 for Navi. Reciprocity are on the move.
There you go. They've heard the sound. The call of Gondor has come through. Skoom's going to go all the way up against the blue and just sweep for some outer snakes. 2 will sit back inside the Harry Potter, and
Rafi's push, that's a good catch onto Senya. Senya's solo. They're going to push in it. Reciprocity going aggressive. Best Loshes kept DA at bay, but look at Reciprocity. They're sweeping around the south side. Best Loshes back is completely exposed. Pokemolodor and Senya doing what they can to keep them at bay. Senya desperately backing away, but he is surrounded. Reciprocity will push on him, and this is a great play finally coming out from them. They've waited and waited, but Pokemolodor has not been dealt with yet.
Rafi falls on his feet. A little bit of a fall flat there. Scoom finally sees Pokemolodor just getting the heels off there. Tries to get the confirmation, which he does. Job done. Lestalotch just seeing the back lines there, hoping no one comes in. Oh, that's a beautiful angle and a really cracking shot as well.
Sees Sixmo as well. He should better get the spray down. Can't quite catch him out, but damage has been done. Bestalosh is left in the smoke. He's trying to keep himself as active as he can and maybe hope that these kill each other, but it doesn't matter. He sneaks in, gets one down, will fall. Haxetti doing the business. Reciprocity looking to try and gain as many points as they can here. They find the second man, and now Sixmo all alone will go into the blue, and he's just going to fade out. Reciprocity will take themselves a victory here, and much needed points for a team languishing at the bottom of the table.
A good time to strike. That's exactly what they were looking for. Wait till the two teams engage themselves first, which they did. Digital Athletics do come sweeping around the side of the hill. Unfortunately, Na'Vi, they get split amongst two different rosters. And all of a sudden, the call is given. It's go time. The signal is green. Rec, they eject themselves from the tower that they were sitting in pretty much all game, to be fair.